It was a cold, merciless rain falling on the quiet streets of New York. The night was calm. But no one knew what was happening inside a small village house in Amityville. An event that would later become one of the most infamous horror cases in history. A large, white house, with strange windows shaped like eyes, built right beside the river. Locals always whispered that the house was cursed, but the DeFeo family had lived there for years. Until one night, everything changed. November 23, 1974. Midnight. The son of the family, Ronald DeFeo, woke up. He picked up a shotgun. No one knows why. Maybe he heard something. Maybe something whispered in his ear. He stepped out of his room. His bare feet touched the wooden floor. His breath was heavy. He entered his parents' bedroom. 2 gunshots shattered the silence. Then, he went to his brothers and sisters. One by one. The shots continued. No one screamed. No one ran. By morning, 6 bodies were lying in the house. When the police arrived, the town froze in shock. No one could believe that a son had killed his entire family in their sleep. But what was stranger? None of the neighbors heard the gunfire, as if the house itself had swallowed the sound. A year passed. The house stood empty. Until December 1975, when a new family moved in. George and Kathy Lutz. With their 3 children. They knew about the murders. But the price was low. The house was beautiful. So they bought it. They had no idea what waited for them. From the very first night, strange things began. At midnight, George woke up. He heard whispers. The clock showed 3:15. The exact time Ronald DeFeo had killed his family. He thought it was a dream. But the next night, it happened again. And again. Every night, at 3:15. Footsteps echoed through the house. Sometimes a door would creak open. Sometimes it would slam shut. Kathy told George she felt someone watching her. When she looked in the mirror, she saw a shadow standing behind her. The children said they saw a man with glowing red eyes, standing in their bedroom. One night, their daughter screamed. When George and Kathy rushed in, they found her sitting in the corner. She said, "My friend Jody is here." No one else saw anything. But George looked at the window. And in the reflection, he saw it. The face of a massive pig, with burning red eyes. Every day, the terror grew worse. Doors slammed. Black liquid oozed from the walls. The temperature dropped, even with the fireplace burning. George changed. He became angry. He said he heard a voice inside his head. A voice giving him orders. He would sit for hours, staring into the fire, as if something inside the flames was speaking to him. One morning, Kathy found bruises on her arms. Dark handprints. But no one had touched her. The Lutz family lasted only 28 days. On the final night, everything exploded. 3:15 a.m. Doors banged. Windows flew open. Screams rose from the basement. The children cried. George shouted, "That's it. We are leaving." And they did. In the middle of the night. With nothing but their nightclothes. They never returned. Later, priests and investigators entered the house. One priest said that when he tried to bless the rooms, a voice whispered in his ear, "Get out." He became sick afterward. He never went back. To this day, no one knows the full truth of what happened inside the Amityville house. Some say the stories are exaggerated. Others swear every word is real. The house still stands. White. Silent. With those strange, eye-shaped windows staring into the night. And some say, if you stand outside at 3:15 a.m., you can still hear the gunshots. Or the whispers. Calling from within. It was a rainy evening in Gray, Indiana. The year was 1978. A family of 5 had finally saved enough to buy their first home. An old brick house, with a steep roof, and narrow windows that faced the street. The yard was filled with weeds and dead trees. But the father believed he could fix everything. From the moment they stepped inside, the air grew heavy. The mother, Margaret, whispered, "It smells like damp earth and rusted iron." But the father only laughed. "It's normal," he said. "It's just old." The first night, when everyone was asleep, footsteps echoed above them. Margaret thought it was a rat, maybe a bird. But when her husband went up, he found nothing. Only dust. And rotting wood. The next morning, the children were pale. The youngest daughter said softly, "Mom, a man dressed in black was standing over my bed." Margaret froze. But she told herself it was only a nightmare. But the nights grew worse. Doors opened and slammed on their own. Lights flickered. Once, Margaret swore she saw a shadow move across the hallway, while everyone else was asleep. When the locals learned they had moved in, they fell silent. Only one old neighbor muttered, "You should leave that house. It has no peace." Weeks passed. One night, the family woke to the screams of their youngest daughter. She was sitting on the bed, eyes wide, skin ice cold. She whispered, "The white woman. She was here, standing over me." Terrified, Margaret begged her husband to bring a priest. The priest arrived. But before the prayer even began, he started trembling. He said, "Something is here, something that does not want you here." Suddenly, the mirror on the wall shattered. Glass flew across the room. The priest's face went pale. He said a voice had whispered in his ear, "It's ours. Get out." From that day on, the little girl grew weaker. Bruises appeared on her skin, as if unseen hands were grabbing her. She whispered again and again, "Mom, she says she's going to take me with her." The father was breaking. But the worst came one night, when the basement door creaked open on its own. A stench of rot filled the air. He took a flashlight and went down. The walls were damp, covered in black stains. And on the far wall, written in something that looked like blood, were the words, "Welcome back." He ran. That very night, without taking a single belonging. He put his family in the car, and they drove away. The house stood empty for years. But anyone who tried to live there never lasted long. One buyer vanished after 3 nights. Another was found in a psychiatric ward, screaming, "The white woman. She's still there." The locals gave the house a name. They called it the Portal, a gateway to hell. Even today, on some nights, if you dare to stand near the house at midnight, you can still hear the banging doors, the cries of children, the whispers rising from its walls. And some swear, if you look through the window, you will see her, the white woman, Eyes empty. Skin grey as ash. Still waiting for the next family to come home.